It can be a rare thing to have an experience while in high school that shapes all of your future plans. More unusual yet is recognizing that moment as it's happening. And a fraction even of those students will have the talent, motivation, and work ethic to turn a dream into a goal with a definitive plan for making it a reality. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Washington High School, where a soft-spoken student leader is leaving a lasting impression with everyone who knows her. Anyone familiar with Washington High School over the past several years will recognize a name: Sam Siganos. Student council member, talented athlete, Spirit of Sioux award winner, homecoming royalty candidate.
Hello, I'm Sam Siganos, son of Stan and Jan Siganos.
As anyone with an older sibling knows, there can be a shadow cast by the family members who have come before.
She has been on student council for 3 years, and she came in as a sophomore. Her brother was a junior on student council, so that's how I got to know her. Being Sam's little sister, where he is a wonderful young man, she probably was in his shadow, and everybody referred to her as Sam's little sister.
And in some cases, that shadow can even become an identity.
It's just like my whole life. I think ever since elementary school, I've always been, oh, you're Sam's sister, you're Sam's little sister, you're little Siganos. And so it's been fun with that, but it gets to be a little old sometimes. Like, oh, you're Sam's little sister, like at basketball games and whatnot.
All shadows fade. And in this case, what you then find is brilliance.
And where Sam is as outgoing, Jenna's more reserved and quiet, so it took a little longer to get to know her, but just as hardworking and wonderful of a girl. She is just as talented artistically and academically and deserves that recognition.
When I began high school, I had no idea what I was gonna do, but then after freshman year is when I really started to dig into what I really wanted to do in the future. And so I started out knowing that I liked art, but I hadn't taken any art classes, and so I was just waiting for the right moment to take an art class to get serious about it. And so I believe sophomore year or junior year, I took more art classes, and so that really got me interested in art. And I did do a dual credit drawing through SDSU, and so that was pretty fun. We got to work with different mediums like oils and charcoals and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I did do drawing and painting one here at Washington with Mrs. Potter. I love to draw and I love to paint, and I haven't done much sculpting lately, but the whole drawing aspect, I just love drawing realistic stuff.
Steady hands, a calm, meticulous mind. These gifts mean that beautiful creations are shared with the world.
Well, I'm trying to work on a portfolio for scholarships, especially for Augustana. I'm working on graduation gifts pretty much for some friends, and so it's like a 2-in-1 deal. I'll put it in the portfolio and then give it to them for graduation. Just different pictures depending on who the friend is, trying to make them personal to them.
Jenna is just one of those students that you'd always want in class. Hardworking, participates in class, maybe quiet, but always is willing to help. I think that's one of the things at Washington High School. She's willing to help people that maybe aren't as successful as she is, and just an all-around good girl.
Here's the thing though, she's not currently taking an art class at Washington. This was all done in extremely limited spare time. In fact, she's only at Washington High School for one class per day. This one, Advanced Placement Chemistry.
So we have 2.998 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. Which one are we looking for? Are we looking for the lambda or are we looking for the nu in this case?
Quite a bit of homework. Actually, for 3 of my classes, there's websites called Mastering Chemistry, Mastering Astronomy, and Mastering Anatomy and Physiology. And so those are just, you try and figure out the homework, and then you get a certain amount of guesses until you run out of answers. And so That's for 3 of my classes. We have homework with that. And then for chemistry, there's bookwork, the Master in Chemistry, and every once in a while we have a UEH bookwork, which is just a separate book, and then you read the book. So that's quite a bit. And that's for each chapter. And then anatomy is just labs every Monday, and so we do a lab and then take a quiz. Astronomy is, you get a new assignment each week, and it's with the Mastering Astronomy, and then you read the book, and every once in a while there's a lab where you look at the stars or something like that, and so that's usually at night. So that can be quite a bit.
Quite a bit of homework is an understatement.
On Mondays and Wednesdays, I have anatomy out at the University Center, and that's a lecture and a lab on Monday, and then a lecture on Wednesday. And so that's from 9 to 10:30-ish. And then after that, I have AP Chemistry here at Washington, and that's during 4th period, so I come here around 11 and go to that class. And after that, I have lunch, and so I go out to eat with my friend Brooklyn, and then we drive out to CTE, and I have that class. And then I have astronomy, but that's online, so I can just work on that in the morning when I don't have anatomy.
Jenna's been taking dual credit and higher level courses for a while now.
It's great because you get professor feedback, and so it's college feedback, and so I like that part. And it's a lot of self-learning, so you have to be very dedicated for that, which I like learning, and so it's pretty fun for me, I guess. And there's a lot of different websites and tools that we use, and it's fun. Right now, not counting this semester, I have about 26 credits, and so depending on if I pass these classes this semester, next semester, I could get up to 30, maybe 40 college credits.
If she passes, her teachers don't share her concern.
There are 3 courses in the sequence through Project Lead the Way, which is an organization that writes this awesome curriculum. The first one is called Principles of Biomedical Sciences, and the second one is called Human Body Systems. And those are introductory building courses, getting students ready for a class like Medical Interventions that Jenna is in. And Jenna jumped right into that 3rd class. And this is the first year that we've been able to do that at CTE. Project Lead the Way gave us the ability to look at a student's previous academic performance and decide where they fit best in the sequence of courses. And clearly, Jenna's background made her a strong candidate to just jump in on that 3rd course. And we wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but she's a senior. She's only going to have this year to get full advantage of the program, and she had a very strong academic performance history in science. Jenna has been performing great. I hope that she's as excited about her performance as I am. She's with a really neat group of students. It's one of the best things about the classes at CTE is you bring kids together from Roosevelt, Washington, Lincoln, O'Gorman, Sioux Falls Christian, Brandon Valley. They all are interested in whatever content course they're taking, and they share their strengths and just make a really wonderful classroom atmosphere.
It's a very hands-on class, which I love about it. We do a lot of labs, and we do take notes every once in a while, but it's mainly just hands-on learning, and it's very fun, and it feels more relaxed than like a normal high school class. I'm in medical interventions, and so we work a lot with bacteria, and right now we're doing yeast cells and how they interact with UV light and cancer cells and all that fun stuff. With the teacher, she's very fun to work with, and she's great working with the kids. She's very social, and she knows us very well, and so that's always good to have a good teacher. And there's about 10 of us in that class, so it's very quiet, and they're all brilliant, and so it's a great atmosphere over there.
Jenna and her partner were working on setting up a second trial of a yeast lab, and we had an interesting strain of yeast that had been created unable to repair UV damage caused by the light. So we were using that yeast to check to see if UV protections worked, for example, sunscreens. So Jenna's group was testing a certain SPF of sunscreen, and they were putting that yeast with sunscreen applied on top of different backgrounds, including water and fabric like a beach towel or sand, testing to see if the SPF was the same in all conditions.
If you're wondering how an artist's passion can also be focused into a full spectrum of college-level science and medical courses, it all goes back to a single day.
Well, the goal right now would be a neurosurgeon because I'm just very interested in the brain, and I had the opportunity to sit in on a brain surgery, and that just really sparked my interest, and so that was really got me dreaming about a neurosurgeon. One of my friends, her mom is a physician's assistant to a neurosurgeon at Avera McKinnon, and I'm really close with her, and so her mom just texted me and said, hey, she knew I was interested in the brain. So she texted me, it was during break last year sometime. She said, hey, we're having a couple come in from Pier if you wanna come take a look and follow us around. And so I was like, yeah. So I got ready and I went there and followed her around, and it was amazing. Though I got to like see the brain right there, and the doctor was just awesome, and it was so interesting. I loved it.
And that was it, huh?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I really want to do this now. I was really, really interested. Right now, I'm thinking either USC or Augustana because they have really good medical programs and pre-med. And I've also thought about Florida Gulf Coast, but that's a little bit far and just dreaming. But it's right there on the beach, and so that would be awesome. But probably Augustana or USC. I thought about maybe art therapy for a while there because it's both medicine and art. But I haven't had time to do much art lately, focusing more on school, and so. But I love to draw, and I hopefully can maybe do that on the side as a minor, something like that in college.
Steady hands, a calm, meticulous mind. These gifts mean that Jenna Siganos will likely be changing the world in all kinds of ways.
Jenna is the dependable, absolutely hardworking, always on the ball, always ready with her part of the project done or her level of understanding being at top notch. She makes a great team member, but she also makes a great leader. And she's had an opportunity to develop both of those sides. She's not a showman per se. She doesn't ask for credit from her peers. She doesn't seek out others to kind of boost her ego, but she just does all that she needs to do all the time. Jenna hopes to go to college and go to medical school and maybe be a neurosurgeon like she saw in her job shadow. She has the dedication and the drive. She has the academic ability, and she comes to CTE for this medical biology course that she thought would help her develop her skills. I respect that a lot because she investigated all of her options and she chose to come out to CTE, which was not the traditional path that most of her classmates took. So that means she's brave. It means she's well informed. It means she knows how to identify her goal and come up with steps to accomplish that. In addition to coming to CTE, she's taking AP Chemistry, which is a very rigorous class that obviously would help her prepare for her pre-med courses. And she spends part of her day at the University Center studying anatomy physiology. I just vividly remember meeting her for the first time. It was an open house night at CTE, and she was touring with our career counselor, Renee Oines. And Mrs. Oines was taking her by the hand and leading her through this building that she didn't know very well. And Jenna asked the right questions. You could tell that she was curious about what was going on out here, but she wasn't just going to sign up for a class without knowing what she was getting into. So she made the right phone calls or sent the right emails, or however she lined up that meeting with Mrs. Oines. She followed through and asked good questions, and those are skills that are going to help her so much along the way. One of the things that I will take away after meeting Jenna is that she is dedicated to all of her endeavors. She doesn't just spend a little bit of time at Washington and ignore the rest of what's happening at Washington High School. She's on the student council. She is very involved in activities. She was up for homecoming nominations, which just means that her classmates think a lot of her too. But when she stepped into the role at University Center of being a dual credit student, she immersed herself in that world too and is getting as much from it as she can and giving as much to it as she can. And that's what I see from her here at CTE. She's not going to let an opportunity slip through her fingers.
She doesn't have class at Washington High School until fourth period, which is around the lunchtime. And she still comes to our weekly student council meetings at 7:30 and will do anything that you ask of her. And so she's still around. I didn't even realize she wasn't here most of the day until I looked at her schedule. This year we formed committees for the major activities that we planned, and she was in charge of homecoming. So she was the person that met with me as the advisor to plan the theme, the dress-up days, and then she had a group of people working with her to get that work done. As quiet as she was when she first started, she is very outgoing when it comes to those activities and planning and organizing and having her ducks in a row when it comes to getting something done. She's a very driven student, a very organized person. She wants to do well. The homecoming candidates are chosen by their class, so that's a true testament to her character and to her personality, being one of 6 girls chosen to represent the homecoming royalty is a very big honor and very well deserved.
Jenna is also humble enough to suggest that her success can't be attributed to her alone.
Well, I first got interested in dual credit through my cousin and my aunt because they had it down there in Iowa. And so they really got me interested, and I wanted to do that because it's like an AP class but without the exam. So I thought that sounded like a great idea. And so they just had gotten the program at Washington, and right when they started up, I wanted to do it my sophomore year or something, or the summer of my sophomore year, but I wasn't a junior yet, and so I needed to be a junior or something like that. So I had to wait and do that, but once I started, my counselor was awesome working with me with that, and Renee out at CTE, she was great. She's been an awesome contact for dual credit, and just all my teachers have been great. Both my mom and my dad have been awesome support throughout this senior year. They know I'll be stressing about homework, so they'll know to go in the back and be quiet or something, or go downstairs and watch TV because I'll be taking a quiz or I'll be doing a lab or something. And so they've just been awesome and very involved. With dual credit and with Washington, they allow you to take your own courses that you want to take as the years go on. And so as you get further on from sophomore, junior to senior year, you get a more broad opportunity of what you want to do. And so once you know you want to do, they certainly help you get there and get the classes you need and everything that you need to get where you want to go. So they've been great.
Her talents, her hard work and dedication will mean that Jenna Siganos is a name Washington High School won't soon forget.
There's certain accomplishments that just draw a lot of credit, it seems like, at schools. And Jenna does all the work that should make her one of those people, and I'm so happy that somebody found her and made this all happen.
I would see Jenna being successful in anything that she chooses. I know med school is an option, and I have no doubt that that would be something that she would be successful at. Artistically, she's very talented, and she would be very successful in that too.